Hello and welcome to today's English lesson. My name is Stuart. In today's lesson, we're looking at using articles in English. Let's go to the intro. Now, today's lesson is about using articles and specifically the definite article the or the in English. And for a lot of language backgrounds, the use of articles is difficult to understand in English because sometimes we use them, sometimes we don't. Perhaps in your language, if you speak Spanish or Portuguese, perhaps your language uses the definite article more than we do in English. So sometimes it's confusing when you speak or when you write to understand when we need to use the definite article and when we don't need to use the definite article the or the. But more or less in these example sentences, there's a rule or a trick as to when to use it and when not to use it. So, for example, I go to bed at around 11 p.m. or please put the box under the bed. Now, why do we have an article here and why don't we have an article here if the noun is exactly the same? Well, the reason is that when we talk about the words bed or prison or hospital or school or church or court or university, we sometimes need to use an article and sometimes we don't need to use an article, but it all depends on the purpose. So, let's have a look. I go to bed at around 11 p.m. Now, I go to bed for a purpose. The main purpose of me going to bed is to sleep. That is the purpose of the bed. Now, you can use beds for other things, I know, but I'm not going to go down that path in this video. Here we'll keep it clean. We'll talk about sleeping. So, the purpose of me going to bed is to sleep. That is what the bed is for. Okay, I don't need to put the article here. But here, please put the box under the bed. The purpose of the bed is not for sleeping. It's to put the box under it. Okay, it's to put the box under. So it's another reason, okay? It's used for other reasons, the bed. For here, it's for putting the box underneath it. So put the box under the bed. I go to bed at 11 p.m., but put the box under the bed. The purpose and the other reason. Second example, he was sent to prison at a young age. No article. He visited the prison to drop off a package. Why here? Again, people go to prison for a reason, okay? People go to prison because they committed a crime. That is the purpose of the prison. So if you go to the prison for that purpose, because you are a criminal or you committed a crime, we don't need to put an article here. But in this sentence, I went to the prison for a different reason. Not because I was a criminal, but because I had to drop off a package. So it's another reason for me going to the prison. Okay, so let's see, hope that is clear in those two examples. The third example with hospital, the same rule. My fever got worse, so I went to the hospital. What is the purpose of a hospital? The purpose of a hospital is to make you better. So, if you go to hospital in order to get better, then we don't need to put the article. But here, the reason I went to the hospital was to visit my mother. So, we have an article, the other reason for going to the hospital. Now, I'll just stop here and say that in American English, you can see an article here. It's not incorrect. They just use the language differently in that sense. But in British English, normally we don't use the article here. Again, school, same idea. My son goes to school. What is the purpose of the school? The purpose of the school is to educate, to study. So he goes to school every day. But I went to the school to pick him up. Because my purpose was not to study. My purpose was to pick him up and take him home. Okay? So my son goes to school. I went to the school or to the school to pick him up. Okay? That's the other reason for going. The last example. Some people go to church on Sundays. What is the purpose of a church? The purpose of a church is to practice your religion or to pray. So if you go to church for that reason, for the reason of the church being there, we don't need to have the article. But if you go to a church for another reason, and in this sentence it's because I wanted to take photos of the magnificent architecture of the church, we have the article. It's as simple as that. So no article here for the purpose of the church. Why I went there was to pray. And here, to take photos. Okay? So it was not the reason the church is there. The church is not there for people to take photos. People do take photos of the church, but a church is there as a place of worship or where people can pray or people can practice their religion. So no article, article. So all of the sentences have the same characteristic: purpose, other reason, article, no article. Okay? It's as simple as that. Now, thank you very much for watching the lesson. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below. Remember to share the video, please, on social media, Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Pinterest. Share it up on social media. I'll see you in the next lesson. Have a good day. Bye.